What does a civilization leave behind when time tries to erase its voice? In the humid heart of West Africa, where the red earth bleeds into rivers of memory, a kingdom once rose with a brilliance that shook the world. Its people cast history in metal, not with iron, not with gold, but with bronze, living stories frozen in fire. This is the Kingdom of Benin. The camera glides above dense rainforest. Palms sway, birds echo. Red soil stretches like ancient clay, waiting for the hands of creation. Long before Europe carved lines into maps, before colonial frontiers redrew the world, the Kingdom of Benin stood as a thriving empire in what is now southwestern Nigeria. A city of intricate architecture, artistry, and political sophistication. Its heartbeat, the capital city, Benin City. Not a myth, not a legend, a living power. At its center stood the Oba, king, ruler, divine axis between the realms of the living and the ancestral. The realm did not simply exist. It organized, controlled, and innovated. Roads stretched for miles, guarded by walls and moats so vast that centuries later, archaeologists would compare them to the Great Wall of China in scale. The people were farmers, warriors, diplomats, priests, artisans. Their world was structured, layered, purposeful. But among everything they crafted, one legacy shone above the rest. The bronzes. Not mere decorations, not trinkets, but historical testaments. Here, flame dances like a spirit. Metal glows. Hands move with sacred precision. The narrator. In Benin, art is not simply art. It is communication, a living bridge to ancestral presence. The bronze casters belong to the Igun Iranwan Guild, a hereditary group bound to tradition, secrecy, and devotion. The guild served the Oba directly. Their workshop stood near the palace, protected and revered. Their method, the lost wax casting technique, an ancient process where molten metal replaces wax, creating forms that no hand can alter once cooled. Every figure, every plaque, every mask, molded with intention. Nothing accidental, nothing trivial. Each bronze plaque was history itself, capturing coronations, battles, diplomatic encounters, the hierarchy of court life. A visual archive before written language became widespread in the kingdom, a memory forged in heat and endurance. The Oba commissions them, the ancestors guide them, the people remember through them. This is how a civilization tells its story, directly, honestly, visually. Now the documentary moves through wide aerial city reconstructions. Benin City is not chaos, it is design. The palace at the center, vast layered halls and courtyards. Surrounding it, noble districts, guild quarters, shrines. The kingdom thrives through organization, diplomacy, and commerce. Ivory, pepper, cloth, skilled artwork. Benin engages in trade with neighboring regions and eventually Europeans, arriving on West African shores in the 15th century. There is curiosity, there is negotiation. The Oba controls the terms. No trade, no conversation, no exchange without palace authorization. The empire protects itself from foreign influence. This is a confident kingdom, powerful, structured, self-assured. Europe does not arrive to teach Benin. Benin is already whole. But history is never still. As European powers expand across oceans, their ambitions sharpen. Trade relationships shift. Desire deepens into hunger, and hunger grows into conquest. By the late 19th century, Britain seeks full control of trade in the region. Their interest is no longer diplomatic. It is strategic, economic, imperial. They demand unrestricted access to resources. The Oba resists. To the British, this is defiance. To Benin, this is sovereignty, the right to exist on its own terms. In 1897, Tension erupts into a violent campaign history will remember as the Punitive Expedition. British forces march toward Benin City, not with diplomacy, but with rifles, cannons, fire. The city is taken. The palace burns. Lives are lost. A kingdom built over centuries collapses under the weight of imperial force. In the ashes, soldiers discover something they do not expect. Bronze plaques, ivory tusks, carved ancestral heads, royal regalia. They are stunned, not by quantity, but by mastery. By the unmistakable brilliance of African craftsmanship. These bronzes do not fit the colonial myth. They do not align with the narrative that Africa is without civilization, without refinement, without history. So the looting begins. Thousands of bronzes are seized, crated, numbered, shipped across the ocean. Soon they appear in museums in London, Berlin, Paris, New York, displayed behind glass, stripped from context, story, spirit, separated from the people who made them, separated from the altars they were created to serve. History is displaced, memory is scattered, and the world learns the name Benin, not through its voice, but through the spoils of conquest. But even in exile, the bronzes refuse to be silent. Art historians study them, curators marvel at them, visitors stare in awe. The bronzes reveal a kingdom of innovation, complex governance, spiritual depth, aesthetic sophistication. They speak of identity, continuity, ancestry, power. They show Africa not as a footnote, but as a birthplace of refined civilization. The bronzes challenge assumptions. They correct preconceptions. They rewrite the narrative. Yet they remain far from home. Now the world shifts. Museums face questions they can no longer ignore. Who owns memory? Who has the right to history? Countries across Africa call for repatriation, the rightful return of cultural heritage. Scholars, activists, artists, descendants of the Oba's lineage speak. The conversation grows louder. Some bronzes begin to return, slowly, ceremonially, emotionally. But most still sit behind glass, waiting for justice, waiting for home, waiting for recognition not as trophies, but as ancestors. The story of the Kingdom of Benin is not ancient history locked in distant memory. It is a mirror of identity, a mirror of cultural endurance, a mirror of the ongoing struggle for voice. The bronzes remind us that history is not something written only in books. Sometimes it is cast in metal, held in the palm of a hand, passed through generations, stolen, displayed, questioned, defended, returned. They remind us that Africa's civilizations are not mysteries. They are testimonies. They remind us that art is not decoration. It is memory made visible. The kingdom lives, not in ruins, but in culture, lineage, pride. The bronzes are not relics of a dead world. They are seeds of identity, still growing, still speaking, still shining. And their story continues. If the past is stolen, can a people ever truly see their future clearly until it is returned? I'm waiting to hear the answer at the comment section.